Sister Act is the first segment of the third episode of the seventh season of Rugrats, and this episode points out that Angelica is the only main character without a sibling. And this happens because a clown, a rather scary clown, is taking family photos. And he takes photos obviously of Phil and Lil, Chuckie and Kimi, Tommy and Dill, and then there's Angelica. And Angelica realizes she wants to have a sibling, so instead she recruits the babies one by one to train them to become her sibling. But throughout this, she doesn't quite realize what it means to be a sibling. And I will say I feel like there's a bad message in this towards the end, so I'll discuss that with a spoiler warning in a moment, in case you don't want to know exactly what happens at the end. But she does various things. For example, she tells Kimi how she's supposed to push her on a swing. She tells Chuckie to make sure no other kids go up the slide while she's having her turns, and that is multiple turns. I will say the setting for this is wonderful. It's set in an amusement park, and we have this beautifully coloured ball pit, and obviously the big slides, and those games where you throw the ball through the hole. I don't know what they're called. And I loved that. I thought the setting was tremendous fun. This could have taken place anywhere, really. There are so many situations where having a sibling becomes prominent. Any situation where you need somebody to lend you a hand could have worked for this, but giving it the fun amusement setting I thought worked particularly well. And I think that that's something that young children might find where they could benefit from a sibling. For example, if you're having a family day out at an amusement park and you're an only child, I feel like, depending on the age of the child, of course, and also how willing the parents are to go on rides. I know I went on rides on my own as a child, and I don't think it mentally scarred me, but also I'm a tremendous introvert, so maybe it did. And Angelica certainly feels this. Now, she does, on the one hand, the ending I thought was sweet, but I also feel like it was a bad message. So I'll discuss now with a spoiler warning what happens at the end. At the end of the episode, Tommy tells Angelica that she's basically like a big sister to them anyway, because she already bosses them around. But that suggests that a big sister or a big brother has to be bossy. And they kind of celebrated the fact and allowed Angelica to celebrate the fact that she was already like a bossy older sibling. But that shouldn't be celebrated. That shouldn't be something that's appreciated. Because older siblings, while I think it's natural that older siblings generally will be bossy, that's not something that should be encouraged. And this episode kind of did encourage that. And it kind of also said that it's typical to be bossy when you're older. And while it might be typical, that shouldn't really be reinforced. And by reinforcing it and then allowing Angelica to celebrate that, it gives a really bad message. So I didn't think that worked well at all. In fact, I think it was quite damaging. But aside from that, the message that Tommy was saying, you're like a sister to us already, that was sweet. That was certainly a sweet message. But at the same time, it wasn't done in the best way. But either way, I thought it was a decent episode, great setting, and I felt for Angelica. I definitely did feel for her. It's not, it's not always that bad being an only child, but there are times when it's definitely going to be more difficult, and this is one of them for Angelica. And generally, I think they handled the topic quite well.